Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about polynomials, but before we begin doing operations on polynomials and adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, I wanted to go over the polynomial terminology, so some of the vocab you'll be seeing. So up here at the top I have an example of a polynomial. And so by definition, a polynomial is an algebraic expression that has real numbers and variables, and there's no division or square root, so it's just adding, subtracting, multiplying. And so the first definition here, term. So whenever you have a polynomial, the word term refers to each of these individual expressions separated by a plus or minus. So for example, 5x cubed is a term, negative 2x squared is a term, positive 1x is a term, and negative 8 is a term. So there are 4 terms to this polynomial. So a next vocab word here, coefficient, a really important one. Coefficient is a number multiplied by a variable. So for example, the coefficient of x cubed is 5. So the coefficient, if I asked you the coefficient of x cubed, the coefficient would be 5. If I asked you the coefficient of x squared, the coefficient of x squared, the coefficient is negative 2. And another one that's easily missed would be if I asked you the coefficient of x, and the coefficient of x is 1. It's that understood positive 1. So the next word, degree. Degree refers to the highest power of a polynomial. So the highest exponent you'll see. So the degree here, the highest exponent is 3 in this case. So the degree is the highest exponent, the highest power in a polynomial. And the degree will tell you a lot about the polynomial when it's time to graph. And then the last vocab word, constant, is the number by itself, the number that's not attached to a variable. So in this example, the constant is negative 8. So for example, it says identify the coefficient, constant, and the degree. So this right here, I can see that there are 3 terms, 1, 2, 3. The constant is positive 3. The degree of this polynomial, the highest exponent, is also 3. And the coefficients, well, there are 3 coefficients. So the coefficient of x cubed is 1. There's an understood 1. And the coefficient of x squared would be negative 4. So the next vocab term is called standard form of a polynomial. And in class, I've always been encouraging everyone to write them in standard form. And so standard form is when a polynomial is written with the terms in descending order. So for example, this previous polynomial that we had, this was not written in standard form. So if I were to take it, I'm going to paste it over here. So it is not written in standard form because the terms, the exponents, aren't in descending order. So this is the highest exponent, the 3. So standard form says I'd write the x cubed, that term, first because it had the highest degree. So I've used this term, this positive x cubed. So next I would write negative 4x squared because it is the next highest exponent, the squared. And last, the constant would be plus 3. So this is called standard form. And standard form makes it easy to see the degree. The degree would be the first exponent. And it also makes it easier to see what's called the leading coefficient. And the leading coefficient is the coefficient of the first term when it's in standard form. So the LC, or the leading coefficient of this, is just 1, because it is the coefficient of x cubed, that highest power. So an example, it says to write the polynomial in standard form. So I'll do that first. So I look at my highest exponent, which would be the x to the 5th. So I keep the coefficient with it, 4x to the 5th. So the next highest exponent that I see is that 4th power here. So I'd say plus x to the 4th. The next highest exponent I see is this right here, this x cubed, this 3rd power. So I'd say minus 5x cubed. And negative 3x squared. And then the constant is all I have left, this plus 17. So when it's in standard form like this, the degree and the leading coefficient are just right out front. So the degree for this one, we'll do d for degree, is 5. It's that highest exponent. And the leading coefficient is 4. So the degree is the highest exponent, leading coefficient is the number in front of it. So for this second example, I start with my highest exponent, which is to the 3rd power, this 3. So negative x cubed is going to be my first term for standard form. Then I have this 100x squared. So the sign in front of it is understood that this is positive. So I would write plus 100x squared. Next, I have my x to the 1st power. That term would come next, so plus x. And then my constant, minus 5. So when I identify the degree of this one, once it's in standard form here, I can see that the degree is 3. And the leading coefficient is the number in front of that front term, that first term. And that is an understood negative 1. So next, we have polynomial can be further categorized more specifically as a monomial. So if it has one term, like 2x. A binomial if it has two terms, like let's say I had 2x minus 8. That's a binomial, meaning two terms. Trinomial, so let's say I had 2x squared minus 8x plus 4. That's a trinomial because now I have 4 terms. And polynomial is more of the umbrella. So a polynomial would just mean any of these. All of these are polynomials. So this is the vocab we are going to need to continue. So we're going to start adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing them. And in order to do that, we just needed to make sure we had the vocab.